You are watching Ongea na Captain.
Good evening. This is Tina. We are at Pastor Mulwas' home. This evening, I would wish to introduce you to our girls. We have Eve, Laura, we have Evelyn, and we have Elizabeth. I hope they are going to have a wonderful time sharing their memories and just having fun. So may God bless you as you watch. I hope this will inspire you in all ways. God bless you. Thank you.
You are watching Ongea na Captain, and we will be right back after the break.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, my name is Captain. This is part 3 of the Mulwas. And this is the Mulwas now.
Yeah.
I remember last time we had, I had Mr. David and the mom and Liz here. And he was a good interview. Yeah. And today we want to do the part 3. Part 3 about I remember this, I think maybe 3-4 years ago, I did with Mulwa before.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it, remember that was a very thing that you do. Yeah. So welcome.
Thank you.
How have you been?
Doing good. Good. So far, so good.
One day at a time.
Yeah, one day. Yes.
Okay. So can you just introduce yourself and for the viewers to know who you are? Yeah.
Yeah, I am Lisa. My name is actually Elizabeth, but I go by Lisa. And I am Pastor Mulwa's second child.
My name is Eve. I'm Pastor Mulwa's last born, Ashley baby. Like you used to call me.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that.
And I'm Evelyn, and Pastor Mulwa was my uncle.
Welcome everybody. Yeah. So I know it has taken it's almost 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years.
2
Yeah.
years.
Almost 2 years. Yeah. So can you just give us maybe then start with give us like the best memories you had with your dad?
Yeah. If I had to say my best memories, I think on Saturdays when me, Eve, and David were much younger during elementary school days, Dad would often take us on drives. Mom used to work overnight, so she needed the Saturday to rest. So he would just take us out, and we never knew where we were going. He was so adventurous, so we would just drive for hours, and he would treat us to lunch, ice cream, and I just remember in those moments, it was just nice because a lot of the time Dad was so busy with work, ministry, all the responsibilities, but in that moment he was just very, free himself.
How old were you by then?
Oh, I was probably
I mean,
it was grade school, so he did it. It was like a repetitive thing we did throughout the year. So it was like when we were, I would say maybe like from the ages of, I moved here when I was about 9, 10, so anywhere from like 12 to like 16-ish. Yeah.
Can you give us whatever you remember about that? Like how you guys came here? Maybe she might not remember anything.
Yeah, even he wasn't here. Yeah, I was only a year. I was only a year when we moved to from Kenya to Ashland, so I don't know. Unfortunately.
So you grew in Ashland, right?
Yeah. Very small town. Yeah. I just remember it was like a family there. Us and the other residents in the apartment, Dad's classmates. They kind of worked as a community, which was nice.
I mean, mine's the same with Lisa, the random drives, but my favorite was when I was in preschool, and Dad was always picking me up. Mom was here cooking and cleaning. I used to go to Kinder Care by UDF, and I'd be like, Dad, can we go get ice cream? And he'd be like, yeah. He never said no. And when he did say no, I would understand, but like he just was very attentive to me. like despite like going to church or going to work and things of that nature. So I think it's the same with Lisa the drives. They're always fun and spontaneous.
What was your favorite ice cream? Oh, yeah, that's.
Oh, mine was chocolate. I was a chocolate girl. I love chocolate, but now it's vanilla ice cream. I don't know. But yeah, definitely I was a chocolate girl, and he loved strawberry swirl.
I was gonna say strawberry.
Yeah, he loved
that.
he loved a good strawberry sundae.
Yeah, he did. Loved it. He's eating that right now.
Right?
That's UDF?
Yeah, UDF, yep. They closed it. There used to be one in Pickerington, but they closed it. Yeah.
So you said you are the cousin of them. Huh? You grew together, right?
Yeah, yes. When I moved here, like that's when I kind of became close with them and their family. So yeah, we've always kind of been close ever since I moved to Ohio.
So when Liz she was born, you knew back home, right?
Yeah, I was still in Kenya. I was born in Kenya. I lived there until I was 11. Yeah. So I came here when I was 11. She was 11 at the same time too. So we're the same age. She's just older by 6 months. So she's old. She's old. Yeah, she's old. So it's like she was like my age mate. She's my big sister. She's old. Like so she was my age mate when I came here. And
so how's the relationship with cousin relationship?
It's good, I think, right? Or do you not agree? No. Yes, no. I think it's really good.
Because I find some families, no cousins, they do fight.
Yeah. I mean, they have their moments.
Hey, sure. You didn't talk about that.
They had a moment too. How about that?
Yeah, exactly.
We're what?
No,
4 years apart.
Yeah, we're 4 years. Like
But
she's
these
yeah.
They're like
I think it's because we were teenagers at the same time, and also like when you're experiencing similar things, and sometimes you disagree, it just doesn't come out the right way. So we did.
What's the most bringing care of that you disagree?
Who
Who
do you think? Who do you think?
Let us say.
It's a tie.
I was at meeting Poland. I'm just so quiet. I'm just so sweet. Lisa is feisty.
Okay. You know what? As big sister, I'll accept whatever my other siblings
And big
say.
sister how to make sure they go their way, you know?
Yeah, you know.
You cannot leave them.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave them. You know.
Yeah, but we have a good relationship.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Absolutely,
Yeah, you find most some families they don't have that good
Yeah,
relationship.
that's true.
Especially cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's
like
like
sisters.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes before when I never knew like you guys were that cousin. I thought maybe like real sisters.
Oh. The thieves.
Yeah, which is very good, you know.
Yeah.
Sure that this is my cousin. This is my sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on how has been life been?
Yeah, you guys are looking at me. After Dad's loss, I mean, the most beautiful part of Dad's journey for me was I got a lot closer to God during just his illness and even his passing. The way God spoke to me during that time was really profound, and I experienced God in a way I never had before. So I find that since Dad's passing, it's really accelerated my spiritual growth. And not in the sense of I'm perfect and now I understand everything and I'm, this perfect Christian, but more of I understand the difference between, going to church and being more religious and having a real relationship with God. And so with that, growth has allowed me to cope with everything through, with God, So now it's more of I look to Him for everything, genuinely. I used to hear people say that when you grow up in the church. You hear people say your parents tell you to pray, they tell you to read your Bible, but you're not all that into it. Sometimes you're just you think that's what you're supposed to do. But now I really have embraced having a real relationship with God, and that's helped.
Pastors kids, the church members expect them to be perfect kids.
Yeah.
How was it, you guys growing in that scenario?
I loved being a pastor's kid because, like, I don't know. I feel like my dad was a very different pastor because I feel like sometimes there's that stigma of, like, pastors are judgmental or they're harsh. But I always had my friends here come over, and, like, my dad would know they don't go to church, but he would still make them feel more welcome, if anything. But I mean, it has its moments because as a kid you feel like, oh, there's comparison between, each other, people's kids. Like, whether it's like how well are they doing in school or how involved are they in the church, and it's like just because I'm a pastor's kid, like that doesn't put me to a higher standard. It's like I don't know. I feel like as Christians we shouldn't be putting each other in like these little boxes. So I mean, it was challenging, but I think at the end of the day, what helped was like my dad just coming to me and making me not feel like, oh, you're supposed to be doing this. He was more of a dad than a pastor to me, if that makes sense. It was a blend of the two, but it wasn't like he was pressuring me, oh, Buster, you need to do this, or, you're going to go to hell if you do this. Like, he was just very humble and very just like, I don't know. Encouraging. Yeah, I didn't feel like I was talking to a pastor when I would come home and felt like, oh, this is my dad.
But did you guys get pressure from, especially at the church?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. But as me being the baby of the family and being very young, I didn't know how to deal with that pressure, so I kind of kept it in. I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, you definitely feel it. You feel like you're always eyes are on you, even when you're not in that environment of church, even in the everyday world. You feel their higher expectations. But like you said, it's like you don't really know how to cope with it, and I think it kind of almost distracts you from the reason you're at church. Because some people, when people come to church, a lot of people come to receive, but you're there, helping set up, helping, break things down. You might be responsible for leading something, and so I would say one caveat of the position of being a child pastor is you because you're kind of expected to serve in a certain capacity, you don't always get that. People aren't always quick to look at you and see what you need. And that's common for leaders. I think that's a common thing. But I think that that's something that really can be hurtful because you're trying to grow your relationship, but you also need guidance. You need someone to say, hey, you need the same kind of grace.
Did it affect in your relationship with people?
I wouldn't say it really affected my relationship because that was normal for me, at least.
Yeah.
Maybe you can speak differently, but I felt that's just kind of like I just thought that was my role. I didn't know anything different just growing up in that environment, so I just kind of felt like, okay, this is what it is.
I can't change anything.
Yeah, and you still felt like people loved us. I never felt like, that it was coming from a bad place. I think people do these things more from trying to help us, but at the same time, it was
a little hurtful.
Expectation was big.
It was a big, yeah.
So you growing with your uncle? Can you tell us the best memories you have?
I can share one of my favorite memories. He ended up getting them a cat, and he got me a cat. I didn't know he got me a cat. I thought they only got a cat, but when I came over and he had 2 little kittens, he was like, one of them is yours. I'm like, me? Like that's my favorite memory, of my uncle, because it's like, who would have thought? Like, I was just thinking, like, one was for you, one for her. And it's like, I'll come and I'll see the cats, but, like, yeah, the fact that he got me my first actual pet, and me and Charlie were like this.
You have to pick which cat you want.
I know. Yeah. That's the other thing.
A lot of things.
I think her spirit as well.
It was more than you being family.
Yeah, just more than being family. What other things that made,
I think think her spirit. She has a very kind, loving spirit.
In your voice. Like when you would sing, that would warm his heart a lot. No, he was like, you sang that song so good at church today.
How about yourself? What made you like feel like what you really love?
My uncle always encouraged me, like, which is something I think a lot of adults sometimes forget to do to children. Like, instead of like always like telling someone what to do, it's like he would always check in and kind of continue to encourage. It's like if he feels like I've hit a roadblock, like he would always like tell me, a stone is the only thing that remains in the same place and you're not a stone. So it's like him saying that quote to me has always pushed me, and yeah, I
agree with her.
He was very encouraging towards me. So that's the one thing that I remember and I miss like a lot because it's like he always seemed to kind of see deeper than what you would. Like it's like I'm fine, Uncle, I'm doing good. He's like calling you and you're not answering your phone. He's like, okay, when are we going for our next lunch? Like like check in with you and actually like be there for you like that. That meant the world to me. So, yes.
Is there a time you guys cross paths?
As a teenage girl, I'm sure there's so many to choose from. I think Dad, he used to know what was best as far as like, he was trying to protect me from things that I thought at the time I knew better. And a lot of times as children, we make that mistake of forgetting that our parents have our best interests at heart. And so there were times like, even, getting to college age, there's things going on, even not necessarily bad things, but, you might be out a little bit later. And Dad just, things like that, like staying out a bit late. And for Dad, late was what, like 10 o'clock?
Like 9.
9 for me. 9. It was really 9 o'clock. So.
Why are you 9?
Because I'm the baby.
No, I feel like me and Lisa had the same thing.
Really?
When we used to go to Bible study, I feel like our cutoff was like around 9.
It was really those people. So things like that where Dad was trying to protect me from things, like all of us from things, and we just thought, it's not that big of a deal. But now as we get older, we're like, whoa. Even like sleepovers. Our friends always have like these sleepovers when we were much younger. And Dad was not about it. He said, you can go to the party, but we'll come pick you up. And now I look back and I'm thankful because, if you don't know somebody's family, why would you have your child?
Now you understand.
Now I understand.
No, I agree with Lisa. The sleepovers, the stories now, especially with social media. I mean, people are crazy. And Dad would always say these are ungodly hours when I would be like past 9 o'clock. I'm like, Dad, I'm outside my car. He's like, you need to come back in. But I get it. Like things can happen just like that.
Don't go to sleepovers. Don't do it. Your parents are right to tell you not to go because there's so many dangers that I don't think a parent can even begin to list them out. It's so many possibilities that can happen to any of the children. So I think stay at your house, be comfortable at your house. There's nothing else at somebody else's house.
Because sometimes I do imagine if there's an emergency, it's not like something bad, for example, the house has got a fire.
Exactly.
You guys are sleeping, First thing, this thing, the parents have to protect their kids. Before they think about the visitors.
That's so true.
That's true. That's mother's instinct. That's mother's instinct. Right now let's take a small commercial break.
Okay.
We get some water, then when we come back, then we get into deeper things.
Okay.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
This is part 3 of the Mulwas. So let's go back to the time when you guys were growing up and your dad was sick. How did you guys cope with the sickness, and what did you guys do to help him through the sickness?
I
think for me, I had marching band. Like, when my dad was sick, like, I didn't really know what was going on because we never really were in that type of environment growing up. So I just remember going to school and being, like, telling one of my friends, Jennifer, and, like, she looked at me like it was a movie. I was like, yeah, this was happening. She was like, oh, my gosh. And I was like, she probably thinks I'm lying. So I don't know if I really coped with it until after high school, in my opinion. I don't know. I feel like going to school was a good distraction. Being in band was a really, really good distraction because Dad wanted me to do band in the first place. But yeah, I don't really think I coped with it after high school. I think that's when I started going to therapy for it. And then when he did pass, I went to this Christian-based group called Grief Share, which is basically you go in a group with people that are also going through grieving, who are also Christians, and you kind of learn how to grieve through God's way. So that's how I've been coping it, like, with grief, like, today until today. But yeah, growing up, I never felt like I really dealt with it. How about you?
It was a two-part question. You said, how did we cope when we found out about the sickness, and there was another...
early stages, when he was...
The early stages, I feel like I didn't... I don't think I really understood the severity of it. Like, I think still to this day, our parents kind of kept some details away. But I didn't realize, one, the severity of it, and I don't think I really coped with it well. I think my way of coping was to distract and, like, numb myself. So if I could go out and hang out with friends or shop, I think I spent a lot of money shopping, like the little money that I had at the time. I don't think it was like I had a healthy coping mechanism for what I was going through at all, like in the early stages.
But you used to transport him for dialysis and other. So did it affect your schedules and other stuff like that?
Definitely affected our schedules. We kind of had to, like, make sure. Mom used to work overnight shifts, so for the most part she was able to take him to appointments. But there were some times where we had to take him to his appointments, and then we would rotate for the dialysis. So that was kind of like later stages of the sickness, and I think coping looked like, for me, just kind of like, I was starting then to lean on God a bit more, and kind of trying to remember that there's nothing worrying is going to add. And I don't know, I think Eve, you mentioned that, like, Eve, you almost, like, knew we didn't have a lot of time with Dad. And I also kind of had a feeling as well. And so when I had that feeling, like, maybe a year before he passed, and I think it just helped me to deepen my appreciation for, like, even, like, just the little time that we had with him. So instead of, like, you still get emotional and you get frustrated about the situation, but I think I tried to be a lot more intentional, like, understanding, like, these are probably the last few, moments I'll have with him, What about you?
What about me?
Oh, how you were saying, like, how we were talking about, like, when you kind of could tell you didn't have a lot of time with Dad, did that, like, change how you were coping with the situation, or?
It gave me a lot more peace in a way, because during Dad's sickness, there were moments like we would spend in OSU, and, like, things would change, like, literally within an hour, and Dad's, like, really ill. But at that time, I had, like, a lot of hope and, like, positivity towards it. But yeah, towards the last maybe 8 months, I knew something was definitely changing. I don't know, I feel like God was talking to me, because when I would go visit him, I would just, like, stare at him, and I would just have this, like, peace just come around my body, and I'm like, I don't have much time with that. I didn't know if it was an hour, I didn't know if it was, like, 2 days, like, but I'm like, something is gonna happen very soon. And I had a lot of peace about it, because Dad didn't talk about death like it was a bad thing, and he was very open, like, if I do pass, I would want you guys to do this. So I think that also helped give me peace eternally. Yeah.
Is there a time that you wish maybe in your childhood memory there are things that you guys missed to do together with your dad?
I think just spending time. Like, we could just be here at home reading the Bible or just talking about how our week went.
No, do you hate time that you miss? That you feel like I miss. I wish my dad was not sick. That I would have accomplished this and this. Maybe,
Yeah, I think a lot.
A lot of things.
A lot of things. Yeah.
Everything. I think like a dad is so integral, is an integral part of any family. So it's like when he's not like, able to fulfill certain functions, it affects the whole family, so I feel like the list, that would be a long list, like everything from just going out and like being able to have lunch and have him not have to think about the stairs, not have to think about how we're gonna
food choices,
that was a big one.
That was a huge one.
And also there's just so much, like even like when I had car issues, just things like you
have to call your dad to come and fix it.
So there's so many things that I think that's why Father's Day is coming up, so happy Father's Day. But men just play such a vital role in any family, and also dad's sickness affected even him and mom. As a wife, she was supporting him so much. So that also takes away from her ability to do other things, which is understandable in a marriage, but so it affected everything in our lives. Do you have any? Yeah.
That's about it.
So a lot of things.
I know maybe he missed a lot of your school activities, maybe, or you like my dad will be here. You said you were in the band, sometimes you guys got cheering group and you wondered, I wish my dad was standing there.
I think during high school he was ill, but not that ill. Like he would still attend like concert bands. Like one time I had this one time I had this marching band competition like far away. I don't know if it was like Taze Valley or something. It was so cold and Dad hated the cold. And I remember seeing him and Mom in the stands and I was like, oh my God, Dad came. So during high school he wasn't too sick.
So he attended most of the activities at school, right?
When he could, before dialysis was very different.
So at least your activity at school, I think he attended most of them? Yeah,
because I was pretty much done with, I was in college for the most part when he was really sick. And so, I would say so. He was there. He made a good point of trying to be there for us. But I don't think I was even you did marching. You were more involved. I feel like I just went to school and came home.
I was only involved because of him. He was the one who was like, we're gonna go see which instrument you're gonna play from 6th grade to senior year. So
Well, I also think he was encouraging with your volleyball.
Oh, the volleyball,
Like I remember him encouraging you because I used to watch you play. And he would come to your games.
Exactly.
Like you played volleyball?
You forgot.
That's what I'm saying. She forgot about that. I'm like, no.
Maybe because I'm so old.
I'm
that was
sorry.
so long.
That's so old. That's very old. You need to be playing at your age. You need to be playing.
Yes. Well, he was encouraging, but I love that sense of
honesty.
Humor because he would laugh at our team and our coach. We weren't very good at all.
But he was encouraging, and he would come see.
And that's the thing Evelyn said about Dad being encouraging. I think that was if I didn't have to pick a favorite memory, that would just be my favorite thing about my dad. He was the most encouraging person. That's what I miss to this day. Because it's very rare that you get someone who doesn't just look at you for what you have to offer or what you can do for them or what you should be doing, but someone who looks beyond the surface and can see you for where you're at and understand and empathize with you. Because sometimes I think we look at people and we see potential or we wish, you might look at your child, oh, I wish they can do this, they're so capable. But it's at the same time, you don't know what that person is going through. You don't know what, struggles. We face things internally, especially as children. You don't always feel comfortable sharing things. And I just love that Dad was so intentional about seeing beyond the surface and making you feel loved, even when you didn't feel like you should you were deserving of that love. He just showered you with love. You know what I mean? Not critical. He was not critical. You know? Yeah. That was my favorite memory of that.
So he did through all of you, right? Even your brother?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like
he could be a stranger on the street, and he's gonna just go talk to you. Yeah, that's just who he was. Yeah.
Like my favorite thing also was when me and Eve, when you're a kid and you have to catch the bus. Sometimes you miss that bus. You don't try to. Maybe you overslept. And you overslept, and now, you tried to make it, the bus is passing.
It's gone, and you out there.
And I'm telling you, Dad, he had a full-time job that he had to go to. But he would go to work, he would take me, not only when I woke him up, he would not have an attitude or be angry or disappointed. He would say, okay, you missed the bus. Okay, I'll take you to school. You know what he would do? He would stop us by Speedway.
Yeah. His coffee.
Yeah. And he would get his coffee for the day and tell us to pick up a treat.
Anything we wanted.
Yeah. And then he'll take you to school. He's chatting with you. He's not making you feel guilty for missing the school bus or making you feel bad. He would tell you that. And I remember one time he was taking me, and I said, Dad, why aren't you mad at me? And he's like, because it was a mistake, and I don't want you to start your day off on a bad note. It was a mistake that you made. And I was like, I couldn't believe that as a kid. I thought he was going to be so mad at me, And I just think that's such a beautiful quality to have in a person, to just, see beyond someone's mistake and see, okay, maybe they were extra tired or made a mistake. Yeah.
And he would take his time getting ready. He'd always get a piece of bread so he could eat his coffee.
So who missed the bus the most? You, David, Eve, or David?
Eve was bad.
How about David?
No, David was on it. David was on it.
Yeah.
No, I loved it though.
Yeah, I know. You see, some people abuse that grace.
No, I didn't abuse it because I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. Like, I wouldn't be mad if Dad needed my help. I'm gonna help you out.
That's a baby guy. No,
Yeah. You couldn't get mad at me. Yeah.
He couldn't.
No, he couldn't.
Oh, goodness. So you miss the bus most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was Daddy's girl.
Yeah.
I loved my dad, but he was like...
I was,
big baby.
Yeah.
Dad. Yeah.
Make me even forget what was. Look at the baby.
The baby in the house.
How about you guys growing together with the only brother? Tell me something.
Well, I mean...
It's David.
Just
I know he's a
different.
funny guy. He's nice.
He's a funny guy. David's... I mean... What do we say about David?
No, it was great. Like, especially when we got into arguments. Like, David would always bust out his room and be like, stop fighting. And I'm like, she started it. And he was like, well, I ended it. I mean, I finished it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, that was nice. Because he took up that leadership, I feel like. He wasn't like, okay, you guys do whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's always interesting with when you have 3 children because like 2 usually gang up on 1.
Yeah.
And it'll change. Those 2 will change. So, I mean, yeah, David's a comedian. We never had a dull moment with David, so.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, because they would team up against me sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, we would. We'll call her crybaby.
Yeah.
They made me feel good, and then sometimes they're coming on me.
Yeah,
so it just runs.
Is there a time you guys went to, you teamed up for David?
I don't think so.
I can't think of it.
It was either you, David, or me and David.
That's interesting. Yeah.
The girls never teamed up.
The girls never
We
teamed
were
up?
we would always fight sometimes. I would steal her clothes.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have daughters.
I understand. But I wanted to know if you guys teamed up.
No.
Maybe like to tickle them or something. I don't know. Like just joking wise. I don't think.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's a good brother.
Yeah.
I hope he will
watch
comment.
it.
He will comment something.
Yeah.
Right. He will say something like, "Oh,
Mr. David, say something about your sisters. Not about crying, baby. I don't want that.
No, right. Y'all don't say that.
She's a mom now.
Yeah, she
Period.
She has the
Yeah.
crying baby.
Now I'm dealing with the crying baby.
Yeah, that's what you
Your son cries?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. But he's at this
So
age.
let me go back to your son. Which qualities do you think your son has in the family?
Ooh, this is like, he's funny. Like, I feel like he's naturally funny. His facial expression.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, there might be a lot about my grandma, which is my dad's mom, and my dad. I'm trying to think. He's so active, very mobile. Like, he'll get himself into things all the time. Like, now he knows how to go down the stairs, so, like, I have to close the doors all the time. But, I don't know. What do you think?
I think he's Malachi is I think he's very smart, and he picks up on a lot of things. I think I often joke with her, I say that's a man and a little baby son. Because Malachi, I've had so many instances where I say something and Malachi will immediately respond.
Or he'll give you a look.
Or give me a look.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how does he know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's like he responds sometimes, and I don't know, I just think he's just, he also feels like, even the way he interacts with our mom.
Oh, he
his
loves
grandma,
her.
he loves her.
He loves her.
Yeah, and it's like it almost feels like he knows
Who
that.
that is.
Yeah, like I don't know, to shower her with all this love.
Yeah,
like,
to give her all the attention.
Yeah,
She gets all the attention.
all of the.
Yeah, I remember David saying in the last interview that I think Malachi came like a blessing just to come up.
did.
I think so
the-
too, yeah.
The grandpa went there.
Yeah.
Which is good.
is.
Bless God for that.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the moments now. You guys know your dad started becoming more sick, and maybe you had bad report from the doctors.
Mm-hmm.
How did you guys comprehend that?
I just remember you calling me.
Oh,
I was
I remember.
cooking dinner, and before you could say anything, I'm like, this is a bad call. I didn't tell you that because I didn't want to, whatever, build from that. But yeah, I knew it was a bad call. Then she's crying, and she's like, Dad, like, they're just saying this, his body's not going to make it for much longer. And then I'm, like, panicking because I'm cooking. And then I'm like, wait, like, I was just so confused. It caught me off guard. Even though I had peace that, like, he's about to pass. I don't know. It was just shocking. It was very unexpected, even though we were expecting that news, if that makes sense. But, yeah, I remember just being very emotional about it. I went to my bedroom, I started crying because I'm like, oh my God, like, it just hit me out of nowhere. Like, wow, we really don't have extra time with Dad like we think we do. So, yeah, I just remember.
So Liz called you, right?
She called me, I was cooking dinner that night. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay. So then that's kind of when my mind, like, every day was just expecting him to pass. But then I was like, I don't know what's going on. So I was very confused at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Yeah, I think it was very overwhelming. It's like interesting, like what Eve said, how you can be expecting something but also be surprised when it happens.
Yeah.
I just remember it was like a very sobering moment, like, because I remember me and Mom, we had gone to the facility where he was staying, and we just went for a normal visit, and they were like, yeah, we need to talk to you guys, and then they were telling us about, like, the conditions, like the symptoms he was showing were that of someone who, whose body is now starting to fail. And I remember it was just, oh my gosh, that moment was just, it was almost like disbelief. You can't even believe it, You're like, what do you mean? So I called Eve, I gave David a call as well, and so he started planning a trip here. But to sum it up, it was just overwhelming for me, I think. It was a lot to, like, comprehend all in one moment.
Evelyn, you had time to go visit when Uncle was sick.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I always had a great time. Like, I think, like, towards the end when I was going with Auntie, we would always bring him fruits.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he loved fruits. And, like, one of my favorite things is before, like, we would get to the food and stuff like that, my aunt would come and she would peek a little bit. And my uncle would be like, Mom, Mom, Mom. And, like, he would just, like, he was so excited to see her. But then, like, the next thing is, like, the fruits. So it's, like, just kind of remembering, like, those last moments. Like, for me, like they said, it was overwhelming and confusing. But Leaf said, it's like we were expecting it, but at the same time, it's like you're going there every single day, but you don't know, like, what's going to happen. So it was overwhelming and confusing for me. But yeah, I'm glad I got to kind of spend those moments with him and bring fruits. Yeah, I remember one time we didn't bring enough berries. Well, it's not that we didn't. That day he had a lot of an appetite, and, like, he ate the one bowl of berries that we brought him, and then he's like, where's more berries? And we're like, we didn't think you were going to finish those. You know, so it was awesome. Like, yeah, I loved my uncle so much. So, yeah, those last moments were important and very, I don't know, they were, I don't know what the word could be, but, like, they were very healing for me in a way, because I had seen him through so much pain. And it's like kind of seeing that come to a close. It was touching. It was touching. Yeah.
Last time Lizzie said you were there at last moment, like the most last moment. I know it's not easy just to be standing there to see your loved one go.
Yeah. That was, but I think the way it happened, I had a lot of peace. Like, because like how I mentioned earlier, God had really been speaking to me about, like, God had just been with me the whole kind of, like, period of transition of Dad. And so that moment, so essentially when we had when Dad was in his last few days, there was there was a lot of anticipation about, you know, when he would leave. And so me wanting to spend as much time with him, I was trying to be there for the whole day. We would spend the whole day there. Until one time I got so exhausted because, you know, we're only eating like once a day, you know, trying to make sure we're not leaving his side. Anyway, long story short, on the day of his passing, I didn't know, obviously, and I kind of dragged my feet that day, where I was kind of tired, and I was actually the last one to get there for the day. I believe Eve, my aunt, and Mom were all at the hospital with Dad. And then after I was dragging my feet, I finally came in, and within a minute, Dad had went to be with the Lord. And so just the timing of how it happened, because I remember I think I told you a lot, like I wanted to be there to see his last breath. I just had that like desire. So I don't know if I told you that too. I just really wanted to be there for his last breath. So the fact that when I walked in the room, like it was just in time when Dad went to be with the Lord, to me that already gave me a lot of peace. I said, wow, like God really does hear our prayers. I think that was that was a supernatural moment that changed like the trajectory of my relationship with God, because I couldn't believe that God hears your prayers, you know, but at the same time to experience it to like, you know, that closely, I never experienced anything like that. So, I've already forgot the question.
You're right.
But yeah, just that last moment gave me a lot of peace, and I just knew that if God was with me in that moment, that He would, you know, continue to be by my side.
You are watching Ongea na Captain, and we will be right back.
I'm Gen 9. Technically, you are, bro. No, I'm Gen K. That's a new one. Technically, you are, bro. I'm Gen K. Nosy. That's a new one. But I'm just saying.
Gen K?
What was the question?
Nosy. I'm nosy.
Life is life, I feel like, and I have my moments where it's like good days, and there's other days where it hits harder, but I don't know. I feel like I still have a lot of peace. Like, ever since Dad passed, I have no ounce of anger towards God, and I'm so appreciative of that, because I feel like when you have anger, like, it just takes your whole, it takes the literally everything inside of you, and
It consumes you.
it consumes you in such a negative way. So I feel like I have a lot of peace with God. I'm very thankful the way my dad passed, the way he passed. Because same with Lisa, I didn't want to get a phone call.
Right.
Every night I would go home, I would be looking at my phone like every hour, like, and the family group chat, like, if anything, like, so I'm very, very appreciative of life, though, because I am glad I went through that experience with my family of seeing my dad pass, because it just gives you a different perspective about life. And yeah, it wasn't like Dad died, a painful death. He just went in his comfortable bed, and it was like he went to sleep. It literally felt like that. Even when he had passed, he just looked like he was taking a nap. And his body, I remember feeling his body was so warm for a long time. So that just gave me a lot of peace. I still have a lot of peace about it, and joy and hope for the future. Yeah.
What about Evelyn?
For me, it's gonna sound like I'm copying them too, but like, I think life is just, it's kind of continued, but we're never gonna forget him, right? So I tried to kind of keep some of the sayings that he kind of said to me, like, a rock is the only thing that stays in the same place. Like, I live by that, because so many things that he had spoke to me about, like coming to fruition, like me having a better life, it's going to happen. Like, that is coming to fruition. And I think that encouragement just is going to keep pushing me forward. And that's how I'm going to continue to cope with life, just keeping that memory of him alive. I think that's the best that I can do.
So do you guys have family memories that you're keeping to keep his name alive?
Eating apple pie every Thanksgiving. I love apple pie. Having a bowl of fruits.
Yes, berries.
Berries.
Specifically berries.
Yeah, I stay buying fruit. I'm like, it literally feels like I'm eating with my dad. Like, to me, I don't know, it does. It just does.
I think everything, too. Like, I feel like there's not a day that goes by where I don't remember. Like, he's everywhere to me. Even, like, when I'm doing something difficult, I think of how my dad used to bite his bottom lip when he was doing something. And so sometimes I'll just laugh to myself about that. You know what I mean? Or like, even reading the word, Dad loved the word.
I have something.
Yeah.
When I hear someone slurp, like,
I
when he gives feedback coffee, it was hot. It was like,
I don't know how he drank
I don't know
that.
how he did that.
It was
when coffee is too hot?
Yeah.
Scalding hot, like.
Yeah.
He liked it like that.
He did.
He liked it really
every
hot.
single time.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Tongue of steel.
Yeah. So he's around.
It literally was a toast. I remember trying his coffee and I burnt my tongue so bad. I'm like, how do you drink it?
And he would just.
Yeah.
It's not that hot.
Hazelnut.
Hazelnut, yes.
Yeah, I hope you keep the memories. Memories are there. You cannot define them. I know they are a lot. Sometimes you can just sit here, then you feel like the presence of him in the house.
Sure.
Things do happen like that, So how about you guys with your mom after that? You guys, how is life with your mom and everything? Helping your mom?
Yeah.
Taking care of her?
I feel like I'm
taking
here.
care of you?
Oh yeah, she's never stopped being a mama.
Yeah, she never stopped being a mom.
I feel like I'm here almost every day. Like even eating dinner, Lisa's like, "Oh, you're gonna eat?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like I'm at mom's house.
Who else are you gonna eat? Liz?
Yeah. She's like, "Can I take that home with you?" I'm like, "Yeah, mom made it."
Yeah. I think it's also helped us deepen our relationship with her.
Yeah.
Like, we all like have to lean on one another. And so, you see a different side to someone because, at first it was mom and dad. They were literally one person.
Yeah, you couldn't.
You
can't separate them.
You can't separate them. So now we have mom. And so we get to, support her through her grieving process. I mean, we're all grieving, but I think it's a unique you know, when it's your spouse, it's different. It's a different type of grief. So I think it's been a beautiful thing to be able to, I think it has unlocked a different part of our relationship. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's been good for the most part. And like we referred to Malachi.
Oh, yeah.
Malachi has just,
He takes over the show.
Yeah. So, yeah.
What was your favorite dad's verse in the Bible?
Dad's favorite verse in the Bible?
Psalm 91.
Yeah, that's the one that comes to mind.
So he had different ones.
But that's the
what
one
Mom
he
said.
would that's the one he would always tell us to like read. I think
the protection verse.
Yeah, the protection verse. Like he would always like. I feel like when we were all together, he would make us read that.
Psalm 91.
Yeah.
Psalm 91. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a lot of, I feel like, he had a lot of
His
favorite
Bible,
ones,
if we
but-
showed it here,
highlights.
like the highlights, the underlining, the notes, it's there. Yeah.
So you guys are keeping that, reading the Bible together every day?
Yeah, I tried.
Even me as a family.
together, I don't know.
Together,
I
it's
don't
a little
think we do
tricky, but
together, but we,
Yes, but
Yeah.
when you guys have
Time.
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good he raised you guys to know the word of God and
Mm-hmm.
to be bonded as a family, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep that. I think that's the biggest memory, like to bond yourself.
Mm-hmm.
This is my sister, this is my mom, this is my brother, this is my cousin. Like
Yeah.
never bring separation in between.
Exactly.
Because that's not how I knew pastor.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, even me I can say a lot of testimony, but I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
I have my own, you know, I have to say a lot of things, you know. Yeah, but he was a good man, especially
Yeah.
community-wise.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can testify that.
A true leader.
I remember even this clip I had played a lot, most of the time about Angas when he was dancing.
Oh, yeah.
At the national thing,
He loved
I do play that one. They put in a Kamba song and
Yes, again on the
He
stage.
was living the dream.
they do the fashion with the mom and he was like,
Yeah, I think that's the one I remember. He's wearing a black suit and your mom is wearing a kitenge. They're dancing.
He loved to show off his wife.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I'm like, wow.
Miss Tina, she shall be seen.
Yeah.
Yes.
He like to show his wife. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And he made sure we knew we came after.
Yes, yeah.
And the children, us children, knew it was God, Mom,
And the
Everybody
kids.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice, yeah. But that's nice just to have time to remember about him, and I pray that God continue keeping you together.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I pray for you guys always.
Thank you.
Pray for your mom. Thank you guys. How you experience your loved one going is not easy questions. But thank you for wisdom. Thank you for taking, even I thought maybe you guys would be emotional, but I thank God you have healed. Yeah. The way you guys have said you have gone through stuff, but you have healed peaceful and you have peace of God.
Yeah.
And I know God is the one who has made all this for you guys to be strong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was in the world, it would be like, maybe we don't know.
Yeah,
it would be a
right,
different
yeah.
story.
The reaction would be different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for having this conversation with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
So hopefully that's the end.
Yes.
Yeah, so I wish you all well.
Thank
Wish
you.
you Malachi well.
Thank
Wish Liz well.
you.
God bless you all.
Yes, and we wish you well as
Yes,
well.
thank you.
again.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you so much.
Yes.
That's the end. Maybe we'll be going to see something in the kitchen.
Part 4.
Yeah, we are the mama's place.
Right.
Don't ask us if we're going to eat this.
Exactly.
We're going to eat it. We are mama's place.
Part 4. Part 4.
Thank you so guys, and
Yes.
everything's okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you pray before we go?
Yes.
Let me pray for you guys.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Father, thank you. I want to say thank you, Lord, for this family. I thank you for Mom. Thank you for David. Thank you for Liz, even Linus. You have shared this, and even Malachi, Father, bless him. I want to say thank you, Father, for this family that you have been so faithful to them. And God, you have raised them, protect them, and be with them, Father, since their dad went to with you, Lord. We pray, Lord, continue to give them peace, encouragement, and stand with them, Father. Meet the needs in their hearts, financially and physical. Heal the wounds that they might be going through, Lord. Thank you, Father, because after uniting us with fathers and family, Lord, we pray the Lord, the peace of God be with us. Thank you for this interview, Lord, and we pray the Lord, whatever we have spoken here, Lord, is going to encourage that.
Ungeniuliza singekubali mimi, mpendwa wangu ni mwache aende, rafiki yangu kipenzi aende, Mungu hapana, kwangu si sawa.
Ile mipango tulipanga imezima, kwako ni sawa, ila nabaki peke yangu. Nitafanyaje, nimeachwa peke yangu? Mungu hapana, kwangu si sawa.
Ila naelewa Mungu, kazi yako haina kosa, na kushukuru kwa yote, mapenzi yako yatimizwe.
Hili limeniliza sana, hili limeniumiza sana,